Testing 1, 2. Testing, and now we have audio, but I still don't hear anything myself. Why not? Let's see, audio, this is my microphone here, and it goes like this, blah 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 blah, and it comes here. And if I turn that off, then I hear myself. No, I do not hear myself. Oh, it wasn't on the headphones. Okay. But I want music instead of myself, so turn this off. And my music just comes from here, I guess. Okay. Just checking that I am not going to play copyrighted music over YouTube. Okay. We wrote a vector compare. For the vector compare, which can compare vectors that contain elements that can be compared with whatever I pass. So this one contains SetLayout, vulkan DescriptorSetLayout. Let's start with a list of all the compares that I have. I already made that here. And this I don't think I have class. Nope, but I do have these structs. And these are old. Render graph. I need a scratchpad thing somewhere where I can store strings again. Yeah. About here. I used this one before. Okay, so that's a compare. Now I have to change my music again because there is vocals in it. Seems that's all of them. Now the layout binding vector compare is probably not needed because after that I made the utils vector compare. What this is doing is it's taking two vectors And I'm doing the basically the same thing as vector compare, I think. Vector compare. Size unequal, return the size, otherwise get begin, and then while there not end, compare less than left and right, otherwise increment. That is exactly what I do here as well. So do not need this, but then I need a compare for the elements, or that would be layout bind compare. Binding compare, it's already that. So if I delete this, then I have to replace this with and that should still work. Maybe you should make a utils pair compare to compare this with built-in support for vectors. How would that work? Let me think. Pair compare maybe. So that would be replacing this structure, which would, I think, also solve my, no, this logical device, not H. I'm having a circular header dependency at the moment that I really want to get rid of. Yeah, I think I would like to do that. I'm just not sure where to put it. But let's say I first look where it is being used. Definition, and it's being used below, right below it. Okay. Okay, so I have to tell it that it is a vector, right? So it would be a utils pair of vector compare, or am I completely wrong? No, not really. I think I can do something like, okay, I'll put it in utils. Utils pair compare. There's a type, and then just pass the two types. So basically this one and that one, right? No, not the types, whatever is needed to compare them. So this is SetLayout compare. And the PushConstantRange compare. Which are defined in namespace vulkan descriptor. Maybe I should just make those lines fit in the YouTube width of my monitor, yeah. The why not approach. Now, is this going to work? I don't know. Let's first try to write pair compare. At least I do not need this one anymore, but I want to copy it, I guess, for so I can use it maybe. We are now logical device on H, and I want to create something called utils pair compare. So let's delete this. Then we are here in namespace utils. And I'm probably going to need to use the vector compare. Well, I'm certain about that actually. It's taking the key only, right? Okay, so I'll just make a template for the pair types. So the T1 and type name T2. But I'm starting with just an overload for vectors immediately, or shall I write them both? Alright, so anyway, well, let's say start with T1 and T2 and write it in a way that I still want to keep this. Simply compare the wait, this is also a template. I'm wondering if functors like standard less have type def for their for the type that they compare. Totally something else. So say standard less. Well, they had it, but they removed it. Is it derived from standard binary function? It's also until 0 plus 11. No, yeah. I guess it's not stored. I want to add a concept. Not sure how to do that, I must say. Probably better to do that afterwards. After it works. Well, it is nonsense. I need to compare first. This is also nonsense. Oops. If this is true, then I'm going to say it's less than. And otherwise, if the right hand side first is less than the left hand side first, it's false. Otherwise, we return left hand side second is less than the right hand side second. It's noise. Hmm. I'm doing total nonsense. Sorry, total nonsense. I meant it like that, of course. Yep, that's correct. No, we can do that in one blow, can we? No, I need to know if it is equal to 1. So just keep doing it like this. Oh, that's exactly it. Damn it. Otherwise, I already made the first compare, did I not? I did not. Nope, 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 nope. Implied, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure about this. I have to make a new pair, right? And this can, it's probably better to just copy this code. Okay, so this first looks at the size and also accepts non-vectors, as long as the type, I must say, then equals... Wait, it's not working, of course, is it? Yeah, okay, so say first could be a vector of element, and then second could be just element. So I have to add concepts there, I think. Or at least it's calling less than now. I probably should use standard less, but no, only if I pass that. Yeah, probably needs more change in the future somewhere. Let's see. We have a struct pair compare and a function callable thing. And the pair compare is past the element compares for the first and the second. What a nonsense. Vector compare looks at the size. They're both vectors, so I just call vector compare. It looks at the size. It turns true if the size as a vector is less than the size of seconds. Let's forget the word vector and make it return true if the number of elements of first it's less than the number of elements also nonsense. How can I write a code that is already correct? I think I have to eat. Well, in 10 minutes. Yeah, sorry guys, I was not looking at the chat. Someone, the first person asked, is Bullman? I never heard of that. It's Bullman. I didn't even see that it looked a little bit like Vulkan. Is Vulkan better than OpenGL? Yes, Vulkan is a successor of OpenGL. It's intended for the modern GPU card. It's worse in the sense that you need to write a lot more code to use it. But the end result should be faster. And yes, I'm using Vim or NeoVim. And I'm using, so I'll type it. So NeoVim, and I use both G++ and or Clang. But then again, I'm on Linux, so yeah. Why am I so... What's the word? Not making any progress. I cannot find the word with this comment. What it does is I first look at first. I mean, I can describe it. I can describe it in English in the same way as I coded it, I guess. So, like, I first compare first, and then if less than if the left hand first is less than the left hand of the right hand first, and blah blah blah. And then you get it exactly the same as I already wrote, but that in English. Compare two pairs. First and second may be a standard element with a student vector of 1. That's clear enough. Those must be element type. Let's retry this. Okay, so first compares first. And if equal returns the compare of second. Compare means returning true if the left hand side is less than the right hand side. Both first and second are first compared by number of elements, the number of elements is unequal then we return left hand size less than right hand size. Okay, like that. Otherwise, vectors are compared element by element until first element that is unequal. Well, that's good enough and I don't care. Yeah, I'm not using an IDE anyway and don't like Doxygen. This is more of a Doxygen thing. I just write plain English in normal write my documentation in just as a comment. I'm not using Doxygen. Doesn't really work for me. Anyway, I think this kind of works. Maybe I should check it because I'm too lazy to write a test suite. Let's go over it again. We call the callable operator with two pairs, which must have the same type. And then if the first type is a vector, then the demand is, if you ask me, that the type of I need the type of the element then, right? Oh well, I don't care. Yeah, just I mean, if you add all kinds of static asserts and or concepts, then you get nice compile errors. But pretty sure I understand the compile error anyway. So if first is a vector, then we make a vector compare with the first compare. And then if the second one is a vector, we also make that one. And then we say if first we compare first with the vector compare. If this is less than that, then we return true. If the last one is less than the first one, or the right one is less than the left hand side, we return false. Otherwise they are equal and we look at a second instead. Totally correct. Otherwise only the first is a vector. So if the vector is, the size is not 1, then we are done by comparing the size. And otherwise we compare that one element in much the same way. And here I have well, the mirror image with the second and first swapped. Still comparing first. But now this one is a vector with one element, second. And if neither are vectors, then we just do this. If I made a mistake in this code, then there's going to be pain, I think. Because I don't know when it will turn up and how it will turn up. It's going to be really painful to find. Okay, I do not do indentations for namespaces. Let's shift that back. It was a mistake. So I wrote pair compare. I still have to include it now. Well, pair compare already includes vector compare, so let's just make this pair compare. Which means I did get rid of whatever I had here, which was SetLayout's PushConstantRange is pair compare. So here all my compare things. That one is no more, and this one is no more, so I only have 3 left. And I want to put those 3 close to whatever they are comparing. So I'm going to put this compare close to the PushConstantRange itself and so on. So let's see if it appears in this file. It does, and then I'm looking it up, and it is used in pipeline shader input data. Okay, so we do not want that anymore. Instead, I want to put it close to, well, but it is comparing PushConstantRange, which is in the namespace vulkan of VK, which is not mine, so I cannot put it close. But then I can put it in its own header probably. This kind of seems a correct place to do it, to define it, because then immediately below it's used in for this set, and the way it is written is very specific for this set. Not just a set, but exactly that set and the way the code around works. So on one hand, I do not want to remove this here. Okay, I'm stubborn, I'll always put that there. On the other hand, later I needed it again, this struct. And then I had to include this really weird header file, which then gave me the circular header dependency. Let's just cut the knot, or what is that expression in English? I'll put it in its own header file, I think. Let's try this one now, and then go here. No more. But there was one more. Oh, I did not write this one. I already switched to the first file. Okay, what? There's even more. Now we are done. Okay. So that one was defined in logical device.h, and I want to move it to its, was it? No, it must be something in pipeline. Yep. So we are going to remove it from here and then put it in push constants. Kind of belongs in pipeline. I have a subdirectory for shaders, but push constants have, yeah, also something to do with shaders, I guess. Which directories do I have? Descriptor. And most of the stuff is being put in descriptor, but push constants are definitely not descriptors, right? And shader builders, the only thing that's related to shaders. It's not really a good place for it at the moment. Could put it here, at vulkan, but utils maybe. It's a bit far-fetched. Because I'm removing it from a header file in pipeline, I'm going to keep it in pipeline, I guess. So let's do vi. What was it called? Something info data. I don't see it. Shader input data. Oh, is that parent directory, idiot. Okay, removing it from there and then moving it to, yeah, its own header. So like this, I suppose. For the assert, other headers are not needed, it seems. Okay, now somewhere I was including this file because I needed that definition, which I just put in its own file. Where was that? I do that multiple times, but not in shader builder. I think characteristic range. Not sure. IMG logical device. That's more likely actually. Nobody's using this. What? Okay. Nevertheless, now I want to know where I last added the include for this thing. Come on. So how are we doing to do that? We type in, I think, get blame. Definitely not those. It's now 31, so it was added 17 to the stealthy 8, not yesterday. Not sure if I can do git blame without anything. Nope, you cannot. Maybe a git blame dot. I don't know. Let's just try the next one. This could be, but it seems unlikely. Circular header points to this, another header. And we are in pipeline. And now we do not include it apparently. Is that the file that I just added and then I commented it out? Yeah. So I just commented it out. It should still find it. I don't know. Let's compile. I need guidance by compile error. Compile errors are my guru. They give me purpose in life. No member named is specialization in namespace utils. Well, you're seeing things, or rather you don't, because it's definitely there. There's no header here. Include .h. Yeah, they should have, you know, this should have the same meaning as a slash. Would have made my life easier. And more purpose is coming up. Here we are. No member name PushConstantRange compare. In namespace vulkan descriptor logical device.h. That is what I mean. So I'm already going ahead and remove this include here. And then it says, I do not know what that is. Well, I can imagine because that is moved to pipeline. Not to mention it has its own header. Queues, memory, whatever. Where do I put it? I'll put it here. Pipeline.h. Mr. JG, how are you? If I'm reacting really slow to chat, then that's because I'm concentrated. I'm doing something else, you know, instead of looking at chat all the time. But eventually I should react, I think. And no, I do not use WhatsApp. Okay, maybe it didn't understand you. WhatsApp, I guess there's a question mark missing. No, cannot make anything from it. Hey, it compiles. Oh, my God, what do I do now? What to do when it compiles? Suddenly I don't know anymore what I should do or can do or would do or were doing. The problem is I lost overview while I was working on something. Anyway, in order to fix whatever I was doing, I had to implement something else. So I started to work on that until I lost overview. But I had to do something, write something extra code to fix that point. So then I started to do something else. And yeah, and so on. And I kind of lost overview of the number of times that I lost overview and started something else. So it's not really branching, it's just going into the mist, into the depth, into the fog is the right word. And right now I have no idea what I'm doing, where I am, where I was working on, and which things do work or still need fixes. accept the guidance that I was so smart to add a few fixmes. So I could look at the fixmes when I really don't know anymore what to do. But most of those are, you know, ancient, waiting until some future improvement, so I can, yeah. But now we are right here. It compiles. So I really should know what I'm doing, right? What I'm working on. And then when the compiler is not helping me anymore, then the only thing we can do is just run one of the test applications and see if they still work. I would almost say I hope not. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I remember now what I was going to do. I was moving stuff closer to where they should be. Ha 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 ha. I remember. I just told you too. Oh, what was that? Grab project sources. Layout binding compare. What did I type? Just GPS. Okay, that probably printed everything. So the question is, where is it defined? Well, that would be here. Is it close to where I want it to have? Well, it is in its own header file. And it also compares VK things, so it should be in its own header file. I guess this can be removed. Maybe you're still working on this. There's so many half-finished stuff now. It's horrible. I guess I'll leave it there. The question is, the only question is, does it belong in the descriptor namespace? Yes, because it has to do with descriptors. And then we have this one, which is defined in SetLayout. So that one is already close to wherever it has to be. SetLayout is defined here, and then the compare is right below that. Okay. And it compiles. Okay, we cannot do any else than run this thing and the core dump. So great, we have a guidance again. Assertion. And PushConstantRange's list size less than or equal 0 fails. The size that must be less than or equal 0. What the hell is that? Merging PushConstantRanges doesn't seem to make sense. At least it is not supported right now. Only at a standard vector VK PushConstantRange once from the initialize of a single pipeline characteristic. It should be a 1. I don't know what I was on at that moment that I wrote that assert, but at least I added the comment. Kids, if you write an assert in your code, always write a, how do you say that? Bibliotheek? Write a few pages of explanation, you know. Why did you add assert? What do you expect is wrong when the assert fires? And how do you fix it? As many comments as you can. An assert without a comment is useless. F or C. Well, and then it worked. Now that's painful because I would say, yeah. It compiles and it works. And I don't have a validation error anymore at the end. We made progress. Well, not the validation error that was here. There is a validation error here. Yay. Okay. Well, maybe there is a validation error even sooner because it doesn't stop on validation errors unless I run it in the debugger. So being lazy, I'm running it in the debugger and see if there is another validation error before that one. No validation errors. You know, all those seconds that it is black, it's doing something. And I don't know what. I think it's writing to the GPU. It's a million triangles or something like that. Each square that you see is a ridiculous amount of red triangles. So I think it's just busy doing that, writing to the GPU. Okay, the moment I close it, I get a validation error. Yep. I switched just for the heck of it, just for the fun, to allocating my descriptors from a pool that does not allow freeing descriptor sets one by one. I can only delete the whole pool and then all the descriptors that I allocated from that pool. And yeah, why not? Because maybe it's a little bit faster, and it certainly does not make any sense to free descriptors one by one. I think when at program termination, I'm terminating the program, so why not just destroy the pool? So it is interesting. Where am I now trying to free a descriptor set? Can I change that into not doing it and just destroying the pool? Up. Yeah, Mr. with a not pronounceable name, I guess it's Russian. You can fort on Android. I think the translation failed. I have Android on my phone, but I never coded for it. I cannot develop on Android. We're going up, 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 up. This also takes a very long time for some reason. Up, 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 log error. Precall something, free descriptor sets, VK device free. Where are we now? Still in vulkan. Here is the unique handle that is being destroyed. And that is because my window is being destroyed. So apparently my window has a unique handle. And that is being destroyed, obviously. So let's go to that thing and then search for a unique descriptor, unique something. There it is, unique descriptor set. And I can make it a non-unique, but then it's not deleted at all. Well, it is. Yeah, actually it is. It's part of a pool. Do we need to keep it alive? Interesting question. If I allocate descriptor sets from a pool that does not allow deletion of single descriptor sets, then I should not use unique descriptor set at all. Yeah, either I get rid of this unique here or I change that pool. Feels scary to get rid of the unique, I must say. But we can solve that with a comment, can't we? So let's try this. I remove the unique. And then, oh wait, that's the fix me says this should be private. So this is just part of it. Where did I store that pool? I think I stored the pool in a logical device. What is this? Test, vulkan logical device cxx.h. This is a task. This is, I don't know what it is. Is this a thing? Could be. Yeah, probably. So this thing somewhere has a pool, hopefully written with, oh here it is, descriptor pool. Logical device descriptor pool. Well, I changed the type, so I probably have to change where and how I use it as well. Okay, I'm gonna search for something that does not end on a... Yep, so here we do a standard move. And that is because it was a unique thing. And that is because we're allocating unique things here. So there are two questions. What I could do is, okay, I should just not return a unique pointer in the first place. The thing is still allocated from that pool. That pool should never have anything to do with the unique. Am I using it in more places? Okay, this can be removed. And here the star, if I remove the star, then it's not a unique pointer anymore, so I should not dereference it to get the handle. It just is the handle right now. And then here, I'm moving the first element of the vector that is returned by logical device allocate descriptor sets. But this thing is... Well, it's getting past the descriptor pool here. So I do not know what if the pool is capable of freeing one descriptor at a time on the descriptor set. I think I'll just have to duplicate this, I think. How painful. And we're getting more and more allocations in logical device. And my debug names only support stuff that is related to one window. Should do something about that too at some point. It's just so much work. And I'm already in the middle of a chain of a billion changes. Okay. Hello, Rosla. I think that the correct way would be to wrap this descriptable in my own class and then add to that information so that I know if it is something that can be freed or not. And then depending on that, allocate in a different way. And I don't know if I want to do that. Normally I always do the correct thing, but and if you don't, you just get this tension in your code. And then at some point things start to break. It is not maintainable anymore, so that's why I should do the right thing. I'm just not sure if I want to in this particular case. So I really have to think about this for a bit. So we have here the word unique also. So I have an allocate descriptor sets unique. That is part of a vulkan functors.hpp. And here's one that does not use unique. So theoretically I just should call this one. Which then returns a vector of just handles. That's why I said I should duplicate it. See, for the rest, I guess these take the same arguments. To set allocator. Here's another one. Okay, let's duplicate it. I hate code duplication also so much. So rename this to unique and then it returns unique stuff. Jump to the header, find the declaration, add unique here as well. And then I'm going to duplicate this thing, remove the unique again, which then returns just the vector of handles. think the rest is the same. But yeah, how to add an assert that you know, the handle to the pool must be of a certain type now, and there's no way to check that with just a handle. So it's not very robust if I do it like this. I could make a mistake and then not being slapped on my wrist immediately by the compiler, or an immediately asserting firing assert. Yeah, I don't know. And then the code duplication. This is no longer really nice. It uses the debug name, and theoretically I want that to be the place where it is stored, so I can find it back in memory basically. Now, because this is a whole array, I'm even adding the indices here for each. But then debug name must reflect where it is being stored in memory, which is in the pool, so nobody knows. And the debug name that I'm using right now is also don't know. Well, whatever is passed to this function. Go back, I guess. DescriptorSets. Now that used to be the unique pointer, so that was correct. Okay, that was not pointing to where it is in memory, but it was pointing to the unique pointer. So the unique being the only pointer with a reference count, and that keeps it alive. There's only one unique pointer with a non-zero value, and if you delete that unique pointer, then the thing is deleted. So it's perfectly to have the name of that unique pointer as a debug name of whatever it points to. But no longer, because this is no longer a unique pointer. So what is a good debug name here? Also, as you can see, I only have support for Windows. This function here, debug name prefix, adds all kinds of stuff around it in the debug name itself, with information about which window it is in. Now, DescriptorSet is a member of the window, so that works. But what if I store something in the logical device? Then I have no support for that. So I need a debug name prefix function in the logical device as well, I think. But okay, so what I could do now is say, okay, I stop with what I'm doing now and I'm going to work on fixing the debug names for logical devices. Yeah, and then a few days later that works, and then maybe I can fix the debug name here as well. But like I said, I already lost track of what I'm doing. So I'm in a pickle. I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to leave it like this for now, even though it's semi-nonsense. I don't think it compiles because I changed something that, yeah, I changed the return value of that one function. So we need to fix multiple other places. So this is changed, the function of this auto thing is changed, and then here we get the same thing. I just copy the descriptor itself over. We have the same problem with the debug name, but okay, won't change that. And then this mDescriptor set is, I guess, an element of IMView. This is IMView. Then I have to remove the unique here as well. Let me add a comment here as well. And I forgot the name of the pool. What was it? Descriptor set pool. Typical name that I would use. Oops. What? Help. Apparently not. So how did I call it then? Without set. Yeah, that's ook something. It's very unclear when you have to add a set and when you do not. You would say that a descriptor is a descriptor, and a descriptor set is a set of descriptors. But if you look at the pool, it's called descriptor pool. I mean the vulkan name. Yeah, VK, so I didn't make up this name. Unique descriptor pool. Now this should have been named descriptor set pool. For some mysterious reason they didn't. Which is highly annoying because I like to call my variables the same as the type as much as possible. Well, that doesn't sound really correct, but I'm not that creative. It's probably better to give it the name what it, you know, does. So yeah, if I would have called this one shader index, that would have been very not informative, because this one is the vertex shader index, and this one is the fragment shader index. And thank God I had two of them, so I was forced to give them a different name. But if I have only one of them, I might have called it shader index, which is then clearly less good, right? Oh, now I understand your question. Cannot cast from type struct vk descriptor set t to pointer type vk descriptor set. In other words, I forgot to remove the star here. Do we have other occurrences of the thing? Yep, there's one. And this is no longer needed. The sun is shining. I could sit outside with some sandwiches eating my lunch right now. But yeah, there's the work. This must be finished. Is it Sunday? That would also be very typical. No viable overloaded something. Okay, we get more of this stuff. Descriptor set layout. Descriptor sets. You make one little change, and like a house of cards, or not really a house of cards, it's more like a row of dominoes. One thing forces another to be changed. So I'm going to change these from unique to not non-unique as well. What did I do? Undo. No, that's correct. Redo. Layout. Can you imagine the time that computers did not have protected memory and you are coding in C? And all those changes that I make, if you made one error and you would compile it and then run it, then the whole operating system would crash. I was not allowed to make any mistake. And now I can just do something and it's never crashing my operating system. And then the type safety of C++. It's really nice. So you only have to change literally, you only have to change a little bit. So I changed, what did I change? I changed the name of a function or actually I changed the return type of that function. And then everything that follows from that, I'm forced to make those changes as well, even before it compiles. I think that's a beautiful thing of C++. Might as well remove this whole thing. Windows.cxx in uniform buffers. Do I have another window or that is closer? Yeah, this one. Totally super close. Git remove this. Polling file has local modifications. Force. And then I need to probably maybe rerun configure, I think. Now what? Windows.cxs does not exist. Are you kidding me? It's named. Undefined reference to type info for window. All those are nasty. Undefined vtable for window. Well, I realize what it is, but yeah, not very clear, is it? So, the few viewers that I have, what do you think is it? We have an undefined reference to the vtable of Windows. The reason is that it does not see all the definitions of its member functions. So here I say I have a destructor and it cannot find the implementation of the destructor definition because it just deleted that CXX file. And then it's going to complain about vertible tables because the thing also has vertible functions. I think it's kind of silly. So now it compiles, so all those changes have worked out. I'm pretty sure nothing has been forgotten because the compiler didn't let me. FRC still works. Let's run it in the debugger though. I guess I can do exclamation mark DDB and then it will run it the right thing. Oh, what happens? Now we get a validation error sooner than before. So something did go wrong. How is that possible? What? Shader uses descriptor slot 01. Where's my piece of paper? 01 is a texture in fragment shader number 1. Expected texture, but not declared in a pipeline layout. So the pipeline layout is wrong, I guess. I don't know, this fly is on off with me. It's just sitting all the time close to me. Anybody else has that? If you have a fly, a house fly, they always come close to you. I think they know that we are the masters of the universe and they want to be close to us. Stupid fly. Okay. Yeah, it wants to sit on my hand now, on my mouse hand. It tickles. You wanna ride the mouse hand? Flies are funny. Okay, what to do? This is a problem. Well, the concentration depends on if you want, if you can accept it. So in this case, if you don't want the fly to be buzzing around your head or sit on your hand, then you have to do something about that before you can continue concentrating on your program. But I'm like, this is my pet. So I could give it a name, and then, you know, I'm about the same distracted as I would by a cat if I owned a cat. But this is a problem. because I just made changes. You saw me make the changes. How can that have had this influence? This validation error happens because I'm calling this function. It's also the same thread, you know, thread pull2 calls it, and then that same thread ends in an error. Now we can see that this creation is calling stage count 2, p stages, vertex, module, another module, I think there's nothing, all nothing until we get to the layout here. Yeah, the only thing that we have is the pointers, the handles. So this module probably this is fragment shader 1, I suppose. And then it is not compatible with this layout. Now maybe I can find that back. So if I go up here, oops. Let's highlight it and then see if we can find that back and scroll back with handle created uniform buffer test pipeline characteristics base. Spear cache create still thread pull2. Compiling. Not sure if this is the one, but if it contains a 0, 1 thing, then it is, right? And it isn't. It contains 1, 0. Here's 1, 0. That is vertex shader number 2. So you have to go up. What was looking for 0, 1, right? So you want C01. Also this one not. Soon you run out of scroll back buffer, I'm afraid. One fragment shader 2. Oh, that looks like pre-shader compile. Bottom position. I did type exclamation mark GDB, right? With the idea that it would run a certain program. I have the feeling suddenly that it's running a different program. Or am I completely crazy? Uniform buffer test. This is a different program. So I make changes to this program and then I'm trying to understand how those changes make the other program crash. Okay, so no validation error, but we didn't have a validation error before until I closed this window, and it's gone. Exited normally. So my changes were correct. Then I guess that the next thing we can do is fix the other program, which indeed did crash, or had a validation error rather. So that was UBT. Massive amounts of validation errors. Massive. Yeah, then I have to think further back. What did I change since the last time that program was working? I haven't got the faintest idea, but probably it's in git diff, so maybe I can refresh my memory by looking at all this. This is a frame resource count, so that's definitely not it. Remove that file, also not it. Uniform buffers window, that is the thing that doesn't work anymore, and I just made the changes removing the unique. Well, that looks okay, and it also works in the other program. This is just removing the reference star, and again, and this is okay. Now you're annoying. What is this? Standard vector vulkan descriptor set layout. So I replaced unique descriptor set layout with my own struct. I had the feeling that there was even before, so that should not be the bug. This is just an indentation. Well, it was deleted anyway. I think I'm gonna kill this fly because it's too annoying. You hear that? Going to kill you. It does not understand English. No longer the friendly human. It's still alive. I need a webcam. Pretty sure about that. Although then probably they would delete my video for harming animals online. Well, a wasp is very intelligent. If you have a wasp, how do you say that? So the yellow black things that sting. And there is a window that is open but not very clear, you know. Flies cannot even find the exit. And then if you make, say you have a stick and you do whoosh through the air trying to hit a wasp, it goes out the window. Knows exactly that one, it's in danger, and two, where the exit is, etc. Flies are not that smart. Allocate descriptor sets, that returns that. Yep, okay. That cannot be related. That is a big change. Yes, this is the change that might cause it. In particularly this fix me. I'm sure of it even. That's going to be hard to debug as well. What to do about this? Okay, and suddenly my eyes are opened about one of the things that I still left unimplemented. And yeah, it needs some thought, I think. I'm going to explain, I mean, I want to eat, so I'm going to explain what I'm doing and where I think the bug is, the problem is. And my experience is that all my viewers leave as soon as I start to explain something. I think they don't like my voice or something. And then I can go eat, because everyone is gone. Let me scroll over this, more and more and more. So it was related to you know what? I'm going to go to the top and then type in fix me. What is that one? It's commented out. Okay. Well, it was pretty closely related, I think. Let's start here. So it should calculate a hash. And the other one is at the binding values might not be set correct. The binding values might not be set. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, so before I was allocating, well, creating descriptor set layouts. So this is not the descriptor set, but it's about layouts. And that's also the validation error is about the layouts. So I was calling this function, create descriptor set layout, and then store it and use it. But like the fix me says, we should reuse those stuff. So instead of creating a new one every time, I'm now calling these lines, which call the function try and place descriptor set layout. which means that I just stole this from standard map, but it means that if it already exists, do nothing, and otherwise create it. Where do nothing means return the previous one. So it's looking at this information and it's going to say, did I see that before? Did I use top layout bindings before to create a descriptor set layout? If yes, return that same handle. If no, create it and return the new handle. That's what this should do. In order to do that, I must of course compare that with whatever is stored in the cache. I'm going to store in the cache exactly this information along with the handle that was created with this information. Descriptor set handle. And that information looks like this. It's a vector with descriptor set layout bindings. Now it says here, fix me, these vectors should be generated, but right now I have them hard coded and they do not change. I'm in this program, I'm creating 2 pipelines, and each pipeline has their own shaders and their own descriptor sets. But well, maybe not really. Let's see, where exactly are we now? Oh, we are in initialize X. Okay, initialize X is called twice, once with pipeline equals 1 and once with this integer pipeline equal 2. And I am using that value to determine which shader code we use. So either we use shader code that's returned by this thing or that one, aka 1 or 2. So we change shader code. And here we change the order of the descriptor layout. So I have 3 descriptor sets, top, left and bottom, and in one pipeline I say I use set 0 is the top, and set 1 is left and set 2 is bottom. And in the other pipeline set 0 is left and set 1 is top. And this one remains the same, set 2 is the bottom. But the top, left and bottom descriptor sets are created from the same information. This is not depending on the pipeline integer. Now previously it was just creating 2 descriptor sets, but now I'm reusing the same one. That is mi. Okay, so what happens? We have these binding vectors and we're calling this function. So here's the vector. It's being passed to this function. The first thing I do is sort the vector. Well, that's okay because it is a temporary. So where we came from, this even has its own scope here. So this is a local vector and we're passing it as an R reference. And it's this vector itself that is being sorted. Now, the question is here that I have for myself: does it make any difference for whatever you create if I sort this vector. So I have to go back again and look at those things. The only thing that can be sorted is the one with 2 elements here. If you ask me, I might swap them, yeah. But it should not make any difference, right? Because it is set 0 or set 1, that is already fixed. And then it says which binding it is. So it doesn't really matter on which order we put it, I think. Not at the moment anyway. In the end I want to generate the binding numbers. So I'm not even looking at the binding number when I'm sorting them. At the moment. This is using the layout binding compare, which does the following thing. It looks at the immutable sampler pointer, which is a null in my case. So this is not unequal. And it looks at the descriptor type. No, I forgot. What is the descriptor type anyway? Yeah, those are definitely different. Then. So one is combined image sampler and the other one is a uniform buffer. So they are unequal, and then I sort them by that. So rather random. Then we lock a mutex for read access. RAT is read access type. This creation of this object causes a mutex to be locked, and it gives us read access. And this thing here then, or what is wrapped under it, is a map, standard map. Standard map of a vector of descriptor set layout bindings. That was the sorted vector that we just have as a key, and unique descriptor set layout. Why is this still unique? I thought that was not possible even. What? Highly confusing. That's really weird. You know, like I was saying, that the compiler was telling me every place where the change had effect. Well, I would have certainly expected then that I would have gotten compile errors for this, because the unique is still here. How weird is that? Okay, anyway, so we get a map with this vector as a key, and then unique descriptor set layouts as what is it, info or payload. And we are finding by sorted vector, so that's the key, the thing that was just sorted. And then the first time, obviously, we do not find anything because the map is empty, so ether is going to be equal to the end. Now the binding values are still hard-coded, so they are correct, certainly the first time. And then we create indeed a unique descriptor set layout by calling create descriptor set layout. No. Just no. What is going on here? What the hell is going on here? Oh, I have an overloaded function. Or not. No, I don't. I do not. I don't think so. What is being passed here is a vector. I thought it was maybe not a vector. Set layout bindings. Yeah, that's a sorted vector. No overload. Oh, it is returning a unique descriptor set layout. I thought it was this one. Okay. Now everybody's going to leave because of my horrible stupidity. What I changed was allocate descriptor set, which is the descriptor sets. But now we're talking about the layouts. And the layouts are created from, not even from a pool. There's no pool inside. Okay, they can stay unique then. Finally, I'm getting it. This is not a descriptor set, it's a descriptor set layout. Okay, so it's just unique. And then I convert my read axis into a write axis, and I am doing a try in place, which will always succeed. Just doing that so I can pass the key as well here. And then we move the layout, which is the unique pointer, into our map, which indeed stores a unique pointer to the descriptor set layout. And that succeeded. And I fixed my iterator so that here we can remove, return a set layout object, which exists of the vector and the unique, no, not the reference unique pointer. So this is simply the handle to the layout. Nothing can go wrong here, I think. And then the second time that this thing is called, it's being called with exactly the same vector. So after sorting, it's exactly the same. And we just inserted it with this key, so we're going to find it. And then we're just returning the exact same handle. Move. It's being moved again. Okay. Yeah, this is the same vector as that is sorted vector, and then the same handle anyway from the cache. But it should not be a problem. Think not. Same for those. And then depending on the pipeline, I put the top first and the left second, or the other way around. And this function is only called once. With top, left, bottom in that order. And here we call the allocate. So it just allocates then top, left and bottom descriptor sets, which are then stored in their places. The descriptor sets are updated. I think, or not. Now I'm confused again with the layout, I think. Yeah, that's correct. This function is only called once. So, okay, we only have one descriptor set and layout doesn't change anyway. So that mapping is made here. How would that help me out? Update descriptor sets. Yeah. I don't see a problem here yet. I don't see a problem. But then again, it's really... The problem was with the layout, so maybe I should search for where the pipeline layout is being made. Pipeline layout, does it exist? Not like that. That is the function call that does it. So this is the definition, this is the declaration. I'm going to ignore for the moment, plus it works. That one is really old, so not interested at all. It's a different application. So that's the one. Yeah, well, I do that like this. I can jump around where they are defined, not where they are being used, that's true. And this is commented out to make it easy. But okay, this about this, this function is a replacement function. So the pipeline layout is also cached. Now one thing that could definitely go wrong then is that there is only one pipeline now and it thinks that both pipelines are the same, even though they are not. So I could get a very direct hint if this hypothesis is correct by adding a debug statement here that prints out if it is found. I could do DC always print something, and then we print and let's also print that it is not found. Okay, let's put not found in cache. So the first time it's obviously not found because cache is empty. And already we get a validation error. Okay, there goes my theory. Anyway, how many others do we have? Here's another one. Found in cache. Now this I would understand. If it finds it, that cannot be correct. Yeah. There's two of them. The first time it doesn't find it, and the second time it does find it. But my pipeline layouts are different. So something is horribly wrong. But I already get a validation error the first time. What the hell? Okay, well, I should have, sort of pop up, which helps me to eat at regular times. Haha, that was 1.5 hours ago. So I'm sorry, I just have to stop it. Otherwise, I don't eat. That's not the idea. I'm going to stop the stream and eat my lunch. Because, yeah, just have to, I guess. So see you next time. Thank you for watching.